That $500 bug-out bag is a waste of your money. You're paying for a logo and a zipper, not for survival. I'm Ranger Rick. I built kits in the field out of whatever we had on hand. And I can walk into Tractor Supply right now and outbuild that bag for about $30. There's one item in the livestock aisle no fancy bag ever includes. A veteran grabs it first. I'll show you all 10. You build this today while the shelves are still full. Because the people who wait get left with nothing. Start with the item nobody expects. A small roll of soft utility wire. You find it in the fencing and livestock aisle. It cost you about $3. This is field expedient repair in your hand. It's the cheapest useful metal in the whole store. Here's what most people miss. A bug-out bag is only as good as its weakest strap. One buckle snaps, and that expensive bag is dead weight. You just stand there holding it. Not you. You wire it back together in a minute and keep moving. Think about everything this does for you. It splints a broken pack frame. It lashes your shelter down in a wind that would shred rope. It hangs a pot over your fire. It rigs a snare to catch small game while you sleep. That last one matters more than you think. A few wire snares out overnight can feed you without spending a single calorie of your own. This is the exact trick we used downrange. Wire and tape held our gear together when there was no resupply coming. You keep equipment alive by fixing it, not replacing it. That's the whole mindset. A fancy bag never includes a roll of wire. It assumes nothing will ever break. Out there, everything breaks. One roll gives you a dozen repairs for $3. Your running total so far is about $3. And you already carry something the $500 bag left out completely. I've put the whole $30 build into one printable guide you can keep offline, linked right at the top of the description. Next, shelter. A heavy-duty poly tarp, about $4. Here's the truth people ignore. In the cold and wet, exposure kills you faster than hunger ever will. Hours, not days. So shelter comes near the very top. Survival trainers drill it into you. 3 hours without shelter in bad weather can end you. 3 days without water. The order matters, and shelter is early. A tarp is your fastest answer. Watch what one becomes for you. You string it between 2 trees, and it's a roof. You lay it flat, and it's a dry barrier off the wet ground. You angle it into the wind, and it's a windbreak. You stretch it out, and it catches rain for drinking water. That's the same poncho shelter we rigged in the field. Simple, fast, and it never quits on you. Now here's the civilian mistake. They buy a fancy tent bundled into a premium bag. It rips in the first real storm, and they've got no way to fix it in the dark. Your tarp does more, packs flatter, and you patch it with the wire and tape you're already carrying. When one thing fixes another, that's a real kit. Buy the heavy-duty kind with reinforced corners. The thin ones tear when the wind gets rough. A couple extra dollars buys you years of use. Store one in your truck and one in your pack. When you need shelter, you'll need it fast. Learn 1 or 2 simple knots now, out in your own backyard. When the storm hits for real, your hands already know the job. That practice costs you nothing. And it's the difference between a dry night and a miserable one. Your running total is about $7. You've got repair and shelter. The bag owner has a logo and a prayer. Now cordage, a hank of paracord or utility rope, about $4. You need strong line in a crisis more than you'd ever guess. This is it. You lash your tarp shelter tight with it. You secure a load that won't stay put. You hang your food up off the ground away from animals. You rig a clothesline or a trip line around camp. Grab real paracord, and it does even more. You pull the inner strands out one by one. Now you've got fishing line, snare cord, even improvised thread to sew a wound or a ripped pack. That's one cheap hank doing 5 different jobs for you. A good length is rated to hold hundreds of pounds. Here's the rule we lived by. 1 is none, 2 is 1. So you buy it deep and you buy it cheap. A premium bag gives you a short factory length and calls it done. You carry 100 feet for the same money and you never run short. Think about how often you need to tie, rig, or repair something out there. Constantly. Cordage is the thread that holds a shelter and a whole kit together. Miss it, and your tarp is just a sheet on the ground. Your gear flaps loose. Your food draws animals into camp. So you store some in every bag you own. It weighs almost nothing, and it never goes bad on you. Waxed cord grips a knot even better and shrugs off water. Now compare that to a $10 bundle at the outdoor store, a fraction of the length for more of your money. You get more cord and more uses for less. Your running total is about $11. Repair, shelter, cordage. 3 functions in, and you're barely over $10. Now the one that stuns people. A jug of plain unscented bleach, or a small bag of pool shock from the same store. About $2. This looks like a cleaning product. It's actually a water treatment plant in a bottle. Here's the ratio, straight off official emergency guidance. 8 drops of 6% bleach per gallon of clear water. You stir it. You wait 30 minutes. That water is now safe to drink. Read that again. 8 drops, 1 gallon. For $2, you treat hundreds of gallons. Want to go bigger? A single pound of pool shock treats thousands of gallons. It's the same chemistry the military uses to clean field water on deployment. Now compare that to the bag. A premium kit gives you a few sealed water pouches. You drink those in a day, then you're standing at a creek with nothing. Your bleach keeps making safe water long after those pouches are gone. That's the whole difference between a gadget and a tool. Here's why it matters so much. Dirty water is worse than no water. It brings dysentery, and dysentery drops strong people in days. It's one of the quiet killers of every long crisis. This does double duty too. Cut it with more water, and you sanitize surfaces, tools, and hands. You stop the disease that spreads through a stressed, crowded house. One weakness, and you need to know it cold. Bleach fades on the shelf in 6 to 12 months, so you rotate it. You date the cap with a marker so you always know. Your running total is about $13, and you now out-treat every water pouch in that bag combined for the price of a coffee. Next, fire. A handful of butane lighters, about $1.50 each, so you grab several. Fire is a core survival tool. You purify water with it. You cook. You stay warm. You signal for help. You keep morale up on a black freezing night. None of that happens without a spark. So you make the spark the cheapest thing you overstock. Here's the rule again. Because it saves lives, 1 is none, 2 is 1. A single lighter fails you. It gets wet, it runs dry, it walks off in someone's pocket. So you don't carry 1 lighter, you carry 5. Scattered through your kit, your truck, your coat, and your kitchen drawer. That premium bag ships with 1 lighter, maybe 2, and a fragile fire rod nobody practices with. You just stacked 10 reliable flames for a few dollars. Wrap a strip of that duct tape around 1 lighter. Now you've got fire and a repair patch riding together in your pocket. Keep 1 lighter on your body at all times. Your kit does you no good sitting in the other room when you need a flame right now. Back them up with a box of matches while you're at it. You seal the heads in a zip bag so they stay dry. Now you've got 2 independent ways to make fire. You're never 1 failure away from a cold, dark night. Your running total is about $16. Now stop and look at what you're holding. 5 items in and about $16 deep. You can repair your gear. You can build a shelter. You can rig and lash anything. You can make filthy water safe to drink. You can start a fire in the rain. That's not a shopping bag. That's a plan, and you've still got half your budget left. This is the one. Pay close attention here. A little 2-pack of super glue, about $3.50. And most people have no idea what they're really holding. Here's a fact that changes everything. The glue in that tube has a battlefield history. Cyanoacrylate, the stuff super glue is made of, was used to close bleeding wounds on soldiers in Vietnam. Medics sealed cuts with it when stitches weren't an option. It bought time, and it saved lives. The modern medical version is the same chemistry, just refined. Your local emergency room still uses it today, so in a crisis, you close a small clean cut with a drop of it. You pinch the edges, you dab it on, you hold it shut for a moment. Done. Think about how often you split a fingertip or crack a heel doing hard work. It slows you down for days out there. A drop of this seals it, and you keep moving. And it fixes gear too. A cracked buckle, a split boot sole, a busted tool handle, a leaking bottle. One tube, a dozen saves, count the uses, wound closure, blister repair, and 100 gear fixes, all from pocket change. A premium bag hands you a few adhesive bandages and calls it a medical kit. You're carrying a battlefield wound sealer instead. Now, a straight word of caution, because I won't steer you wrong. Use it on clean, minor wounds only. Deep or dirty wounds still need real care. You never seal an infection inside your own skin. But for the small stuff that piles up fast in a crisis, this tiny tube earns its place 10 times over. Buy a couple. Keep one in your medical kit and one in your repair kit. Your running total is about $19. $19, and you're carrying field medicine that $500 bag doesn't even think about. You grab duct tape, one roll, about $3.50. This is the closest thing to a universal repair in the store. We called it 100-mile-an-hour tape in the field. It handles 100 jobs, and it never complains. A ripped tarp patched, a cracked tool handle wrapped tight, a broken window sealed against the weather, a flapping boot sole held together for 1 more mile. It works on you too. Tape closes and protects a blister before it slows you down. In a pinch, it splints a jammed finger against a sturdy stick. It even secures a bandage. That's shelter repair, gear repair, and field medicine from a single roll. You carry a whole toolbox in one hand. Here's the civilian mistake. They buy a separate gadget for every little fix. Each one costs more, weighs more, and does far less. You carry one roll that does the work of 10 tools. That's how trained people travel light and stay ready. Here's a bonus most people miss. You can twist duct tape into a crude cord in a pinch. You can even roll a strip into a fire starter. It catches and it burns. Think about how much breaks in a real crisis. Everything under hard use with no replacements coming. This is what puts it back together. So you keep it everywhere. Truck, pack, kitchen drawer. Wrap a length around your lighter or a pencil so you always have some on you. Here's the mindset. The best survival gear is often the cheapest thing hiding in plain sight. You just have to train your eye to see it. A roll of tape stops being a household item and becomes a whole repair shop. Your running total is about $23, still under the price of one pizza, and you're already carrying a full repair kit. Next, light. A compact LED flashlight, about $4. Here's what a blackout really does to people. It takes their sight, and losing your sight breeds panic fast. A cheap flashlight ends that panic in one click. You can see, you can move, you can work, you can dress a wound after dark or check a strange noise. Buy several, one for every person in the house, plus spares in every bag and drawer. Picture a scared kid in a pitch-black hallway during a storm. One flashlight changes everything for them. You hand them light and you hand them calm. Now a straight warning, because I won't lie to you. The cheapest lights and batteries are the weak link on this whole list, so you test them and you rotate them. You buy a deep stack to make up for it. Cheap and plentiful still beats one dead premium light every time. Because that's the trap with the fancy bag. It gives you one nice light and one set of cells. Both die at the worst moment, and then you're blind. You own light everywhere instead. When one goes out, you reach for the next without a blink. Think about all the jobs that need light. You cook after dark. You keep watch. You find what you dropped. You calm the whole house. Point the beam low and cupped at night so you don't announce your position to the whole street. Light discipline is a habit straight from the field. You see what you need without lighting yourself up like a target. Store your batteries cool and sealed, and they hold a charge for years. You check them every few months so nothing surprises you. Your running total is about $27. You grab an emergency Mylar blanket, that thin foil sheet, about $2. Don't let the size fool you for a second. This reflects most of your body heat back at you, and it packs down to the size of a deck of cards. Remember what I told you earlier. Exposure kills faster than hunger in the cold. Hypothermia takes people who had food in their pack and no way to hold their heat. This sheet stands between you and that. It's the same reflective material used in real survival kits for a reason. It works. And it does more than warm you. You flash the shiny side to signal a rescue plane. You line the inside of your tarp shelter with it to trap heat. You lay it under you to block the cold ground. Here's the proof this cheap stuff works. After Katrina, the families who made it through weren't the ones with the fanciest gear. They were the ones who staged simple supplies before the storm hit. Out in the western wildfire evacuations, the people who got out clean already had a kit by the door. History keeps teaching the same lesson. The boring, cheap items bought early are what carry you through. A premium bag charges you for a bulky sleep system that eats half the pack. You get the core of that job for $2 and a few ounces. You keep one in every bag, your glove box, and your coat pocket. It's too small and too cheap not to. Your running total is about $29. One item left and about $1 of budget. Last one. And it's the one people never see coming. A packet of livestock electrolyte powder. From the feed aisle, about $3. Here's why it matters more than it looks. Dehydration is what actually drops people in a crisis, not always hunger. Fluids. This powder is sold to rescue dehydrated calves and foals. But it's the same salt and sugar rehydration chemistry the World Health Organization uses to treat people. The same fix that saves lives in a cholera outbreak, sold for pocket change in the animal aisle. Plain water isn't always enough, and most people never learn this. Heat, hard labor, and gut sickness strip the salts right out of you. You drink and still fade and cramp. A packet of this in your water puts back exactly what you're losing. It keeps you standing when plain water can't. There's a bonus too. It makes flat, treated water taste like something. That gets scared kids to actually keep drinking, and hydration keeps them healthy. Now think about that $500 bag one last time. It never once addresses dehydration. This $3 packet does. That's the whole game right there. Civilians only think about carrying water. You think about keeping it inside your body where it counts. That's the train difference. One packet can turn a bad day completely around. It's cheap enough to stock a whole box and forget about it until you need it. You stash a few packets in every kit. They weigh nothing and they last for years on the shelf. Your running total is about $32, 10 items, one complete kit built by hand. So there it is, 10 items from Tractor Supply for about $30. Repair, shelter, water, fire, medical, light, warmth, and the packet nobody remembers. That's not a cart. That's a kit that outcovers a $500 bag, built before anyone panics. I've laid the whole build out in my printable guide linked below. Now tell me, which of these 10 surprised you, and where are you watching from?